Orale, Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout outs to all the junkies, and it is happening. It is happening. If you have not seen SmackDown and what happened, cover your ears or tune off because it is going down. Cody Rhodes came in and is stepping aside because it is the return of the Hellation, eyebrow raising, pie eating, jabroni beating, laying the smackdown on all your candy asses, including his family, in the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania 40. It is going down. Now, here is the question I want to go ahead and throw out there, right? Well, there's a few things. For one, Roman is still champion. Okay, so is the title going to be up for grabs? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? We still got some time to get to WrestleMania. But here's what I want to ask. The Brahma Bull, The Rock, was interviewed and was saying that this is going to be the biggest main event if it were to happen. Now we know it is happening. I want to go ahead and ask you guys, is it the biggest WrestleMania match ever? Again, not in ring performance, but is it the biggest? The last time I believe I saw these two in the ring at the same time was when The Rock was trying to get Roman Reigns over. You guys remember, man? He's holding he's holding Roman Reigns' hand up, trying to get people to cheer for him. At that time, they were really trying to push Roman Reigns as a face, but it wasn't working. It was not working. The WWE universe was still booing the heck out of him. And The Rock was like, damn, there's nothing I can do for you, kid. They just don't like you. This is before he became the tribal chief. This is before he became champion and started doing all his big things, right? So let me go ahead and throw this out there when it gets back to the magnitude and how big this match is going to be at WrestleMania. The Rock has been a part of some huge matches at WrestleMania. We could go back to when he faced the immortal Hulk Hogan. You guys remember that? And how big that match was. Now I'm going to go over just a few matches right here that I believe were some of the biggest matches in WrestleMania history. Not for me personally, but just overall. Now, maybe some of you guys think that there's some matches on here that should be mentioned. Um, for me personally, I'll tell you guys what was my favorite match or biggest match. But let me go ahead and throw this around, man. This is definitely one of them. Hulk Hogan versus The Rock was huge. I remember, what was it? Was it WrestleMania 18 or WrestleMania 20, somewhere around there. But The Rock also faced John Cena at two back-to-back WrestleManias. That was something else. The first one The Rock took, the second one John Cena took, but it was really huge the first time around. I remember that. That was huge, man. The Rock versus the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. To the best of my knowledge, I'm just going off information off the top of my head, so don't quote me on this. I think this is the only rivalry that had a trilogy in WrestleMania. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I cannot think off the top of my head where two superstars faced each other three times at a WrestleMania. This is the only one I can think of. I could think of guys that face each other twice, but I cannot think of anybody who faced each other three times. I believe it was WrestleMania 15, 17, and 19. And to me personally, I think the final one of the trilogy was the biggest one because we all knew Stone Cold was on his way out and The Rock had never beat Stone Cold at a WrestleMania. So I thought that was a huge one. We could go back to WrestleMania 3, where the immortal Hulk Hogan faced Andre the Giant, which, in my opinion, was probably the first biggest. I know you could go back to WrestleMania 1. I understand that. But to me, it doesn't come close to the magnitude of WrestleMania 3. The Irresistible Force versus the Immovable Object. The immortal Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. The slam heard round the world, baby. That was a big, huge match in WrestleMania history. And to many people, especially you talk to the old school cats, to them, that's still the biggest main event of all time. You could talk about champion versus champion, title for title, the Ultimate Warrior versus the Immortal One, Hulk Hogan. To me personally, it didn't get bigger than this. I thought this was probably the biggest match in WrestleMania history. You can make an argument for all these other ones. That's fine. I'm not even sure if there's a right or wrong answer here. But to me, I thought this is probably the biggest one. You could even talk about the Iron Man match that went over 60 minutes at WrestleMania 12. Bret the Hitman Hart, the pink and black attack, the excellence of execution versus HBK, the boyhood dream to win the championship, and the entrance that Shawn Michaels had. Again, this was supposed to be an Iron Man match that was made by the late, great Roddy Piper, and it went over 60 minutes. That was a huge match at WrestleMania 12. So all these matches, in my opinion, were probably the biggest matches in WrestleMania history. Maybe you guys could let me know one that you guys think deserves to be up there. To me personally for me, the biggest match, and I'm not talking about, generally out in the WWE universe. You can have all these matches, right? This one here, this one here, this one here, all these huge matches and that are going down as big WrestleMania matches in WrestleMania history. To me, personally, it'd be this one, WrestleMania 25. We had The Undertaker versus HBK. They went at it again the following year where it was HBK's final match, or so we thought. And then he came back and we had that, tag team match with Brothers of Destruction, and he teamed up with Triple H. I like to forget that one, and I like to believe that this was his final match right here. But to me, this was just for me personally the biggest match. But that's just for me personally. I don't think I'd put this match right here as huge in the wrestling world the way I would this one, the way I would this one, or this one with Bret the Hitman Hart, or even these right here, the three, which I thought, like I said, I thought the last match was probably the biggest one. This one right here was huge at that time. This one right here, I mean, come on, man. Two legendary, iconic figures going at it. So you got some huge matches. And to me, the biggest one was this one at WrestleMania 6. But let's go ahead and let's talk about what is going on now. Is this going to be the biggest? Again, all this is the magnitude of the match, Holmes. I'm not talking about the best in-ring performance, the most entertaining match of putting them, what they do inside of the ring. That's not what I'm talking about. Because if we're going to talk about that, look, we could talk about that on another one. And honestly, if we're talking about WrestleMania, I probably have to talk about Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. But that's a subject for another day. I'm talking about the world stops. The world stops because there's a match that is so huge that it stops the world. The magnitude of the match shocks the world. Is this one up there with a lot of these other big, huge, great matches? I'm going to be real. I think it is. And can it be the number one? Is it the number one? Well, that's up to you. But I'm telling you guys this right now. The Brahma Bull, The Rock, the People's Champ versus his family member, head of the table of the bloodline, the tribal chief. Man, this is going to go down. The magnitude of this match is going to go down. Maybe number one. Maybe. Definitely got to be somewhere in the top three. You guys let me know. Where do you rank the magnitude of this match compared to all the other huge, great WrestleMania matches. Just the magnitude I'm talking about. Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout out to all the junkies. I'll catch you guys on next one.